There comes a moment in every soul's life when the world we thought we understood begins to unravel. Not in a catastrophic way, but in a quiet, almost reverent dissolution. Like fog lifting from a valley to reveal that the mountain was always there. For many of us, this happens in the stillness between two heartbreaks, or in the silence that follows a question we've long avoided. Is this really all there is? We begin to sense, subtly at first, that the story we were told of separateness, struggle, scarcity, is not the whole truth. That perhaps, beneath all the doing and the trying and the needing, something deeper pulses. Something more profound is at play. Science once told us that we were machines in a world of things, accidents of biology drifting through a dead universe. But quantum physics, like a gentle prophet, arrived to whisper otherwise. It told us we are not things, but events, not separate, but entangled. It hinted that the space between us is not empty at all, but full, vibrant, humming with potential. The atoms in your hand are not truly still. They dance, in resonance with distant stars, in a silent symphony too vast for the rational mind to grasp. And in that realization, something ancient stirs. We are not alone, and we never were. To begin to harness quantum energy for personal growth and healing, we must first dissolve the illusion that we are disconnected from it. You are not a being in the universe. You are the universe, expressing itself as you. The same consciousness that breathes galaxies into form, animates your breath, beats your heart, thinks your thoughts. And yet, we've been trained to see ourselves as small, to measure our worth by external metrics, to chase validation from a world that is at best a mirror of our own vibration. Where in your life are you still chasing something you don't believe you deserve? This is not a condemnation, it's an invitation. Because when we finally question the root of our beliefs, we begin to awaken. We begin to touch the edge of a forgotten truth. That we are not victims of reality, but co-creators of it. That what you think, feel, and expect sends ripples through the quantum field, shaping the experience that comes back to you. And this isn't just poetry, it is the language of energy. The great spiritual traditions knew this long before science caught up. Mystics across cultures have spoken of a field, a force, a presence that underlies and connects all things. Whether they called it prana, chi, spirit, or the quantum field, they were pointing to the same invisible thread. That thread is alive in you now. It has always been, and it is waiting for you to remember. But remembrance is not just intellectual, it is felt. It comes when you sit in silence and feel the subtle warmth that is not coming from the sun. It comes when you close your eyes and feel the pulse of the universe move through your chest. It comes when you look at a stranger and see not a stranger at all, but yourself, wearing a different mask. So before we dive into the how, to heal, to manifest, to create, this is where we begin. With the sacred undoing. With the willingness to look again, to peel away the layers of conditioning, of limitation, of this is just the way things are. Because they're not. They never were. You are more than you were told. You are more than you believed. You are more than what your past has tried to make you. And the moment you begin to truly see that, the quantum field responds. Not because it suddenly hears you, but because you have finally tuned in to what has always been listening. If everything is energy, then every thought is a spark. Every feeling is a frequency. Every belief, a subtle broadcast humming outward from the depths of our being. This is not a metaphor. It is the very foundation of your reality. You are not just living in a sea of energy. You are that sea, expressing itself as a wave called your life. The quantum world shows us this truth, not in language, but in pattern. In the shimmering dance of possibility collapsing into experience through attention, emotion, and intention. You've likely felt this before, even if you didn't have words for it. That moment when someone walks into a room and, without speaking a word, changes the entire atmosphere. That instant when you just know something is about to happen. That sensation when you think of someone and they suddenly call. These are not coincidences. They are energetic correspondences. The universe, as it turns out, is not built on certainty, but on resonance. In the quantum world, particles don't behave like tiny billiard balls. They behave like probability clouds, existing everywhere and nowhere until something observes them, until something chooses. Your thoughts and emotions are not passive bystanders in this process. They are the choosing. They are the lens through which possibility becomes form. In this sense, your life is not happening to you. It is happening through you. You are not a mere observer. You are an energetic participant in the unfolding now. This is why intention matters, not as some fluffy spiritual ideal, but as an act of energetic calibration. When your intentions are unclear, your signal to the universe is fuzzy. When your thoughts conflict with your feelings, when you say you want love but carry resentment, when you visualize abundance but embody lack, the field receives mixed messages. And what you receive back reflects that incoherence. So how do we begin to harmonize? It starts with awareness. Begin noticing the emotional tone of your inner world. Not to judge it, but to understand the frequency you're living in. Are you operating from fear or trust? Scarcity or wholeness? Resistance or flow? This inner tone sets the rhythm for the energy you emit, and energy, like sound, echoes. Imagine two tuning forks. Strike one, and the other will begin to vibrate if they're tuned to the same frequency. Your energy works the same way. What you resonate with, you draw near. Not because you deserve it or don't, but because the universe is impartial. It is musical, and it responds to what you are playing. Think of your thoughts as instructions whispered to the cosmos. Think of your emotions as the amplifier. And think of your beliefs as the foundation those vibrations rest upon. You cannot trick the field. You cannot fake a frequency. You can, however, choose to tune it, gently, with intention, with practice. There is a story of a woman who for years believed she was unworthy of love. She didn't say it out loud, but she felt it in her bones. Every relationship confirmed it. Then one day, broken open by loss, she decided to stop searching and start listening to herself. She began meditating not to escape, but to meet the quiet pain within. Slowly, her inner dialogue softened, her energy shifted. She didn't become positive overnight, she became true. And in that authenticity, she began attracting connections that mirrored her new inner song. This is the dance of energy and intention. It is subtle, sacred, not about controlling life, but co-creating with it. Not about manifesting from desperation, but aligning from clarity. Where in your life are you still trying to attract something while staying energetically tied to its absence? When you set an intention, it is not about repeating affirmations like mantras to a deaf universe. It is about becoming the emotional embodiment of that intention. Feel it in your cells. See it as already real. Let it saturate your field. Because the quantum rests not to what you want, but to what you are. And what you are is unlimited. Healing, in the quantum sense, is not about fixing something broken. It is about remembering what was never truly damaged. It is the process of peeling away the static, the noise, the distortions we've absorbed, so the original signal, the essence of who we are, can shine clearly again. You are not a flawed machine in need of repair. You are an intelligent field of energy, temporarily entangled in patterns that no longer serve you. But those patterns are not your prison. They are your starting point. Let us begin with a truth many of us resist. Much of what we experience in our outer world is a reflection of unresolved vibrations within. This isn't blame, it's awareness. It's not about guilt, it's about power. The wounds we carry, childhood rejection, betrayal, shame, each one becomes a subtle broadcast, echoing through our energetic field. And like a magnet, we draw people, events, and emotions that match those frequencies. Until we don't. Healing is the art of changing the signal. But to do so, we must first become still enough to hear it. What have you been carrying so long that it has become invisible? What pain have you normalized? What belief about yourself have you repeated so often it now feels like truth? Quantum healing begins not with answers, but with presence. When we sit with ourselves, not to fix, but to feel, we begin to shift. The energy trapped in old emotions starts to move, and the field, ever responsive, begins to mirror back the change. Picture your body and mind like a tuning instrument. If it's been banged up by life, and most of us have, it will be out of tune. No shame in that. But when you start paying attention, you begin to retune. Meditation, breathwork, even simple stillness, all these are tools to bring your signal into coherence. And coherence is the language of healing. There's a scientific term for this: heart-brain synchronization. When your emotional state becomes calm, grateful, or loving, the electromagnetic field around your heart becomes more harmonious. This measurable coherence influences your brain waves, your biology, and, if the quantum field is to be believed, your reality. You literally begin to broadcast a new message to the world around you. Let me tell you about a man who lived most of his life in fear. He never felt enough. He overworked, overachieved, always chasing validation. Until one day, he collapsed, burned out, bitter, empty. In the quiet of his recovery, he began to explore meditation. At first, it was frustrating, but slowly something shifted. He began to feel his breath, to hear the subtle voice within. He cried, often. Not because he was weak, but because the pain had been locked in his body for decades. As the emotion released, something else emerged. Peace. He didn't become someone new. He remembered who he was. This is healing. Not a magical moment, but a sacred recalibration. An energetic shift from dissonance to harmony, from contraction to expansion, from fear to flow. And yes, it requires courage. It means facing the shadow, not running from it, feeling the discomfort, not numbing it. But the reward is profound, because as you heal, you stop repeating, you stop recreating the same cycles in different costumes. You begin to emit a new frequency, and life begins to respond in kind. The quantum field doesn't speak English, it speaks vibration. And when your vibration says, "I am whole," the universe echoes back wholeness. When your energy radiates forgiveness, you stop attracting battles. When your signal becomes self-love, relationships shift. Some leave, some deepen, some arrive anew. Where in your life are you still replaying an old frequency? What would happen if you chose just for today to feel something different, not to escape the past, but to create a new future? Because healing isn't about pretending everything is okay. It's about being real enough to let the truth dissolve what no longer serves. And in that honesty, in that raw, quiet space, your energy begins to sing a different song. One the universe has been waiting to hear from you. You do not manifest what you want. You manifest what you are. Let that truth settle, not as judgment, but as revelation. Because deep down, we've all been taught to ask the universe for things, while continuing to doubt we're worthy of receiving them. We've been taught to visualize success while carrying the frequency of fear. We chase, plead, repeat affirmations like spells, hoping that somehow our words will override the vibration beneath them. But the quantum field does not respond to our words. It responds to our state of being. Manifestation is not magic. It is resonance. It is the mirror effect of energy echoing back from the invisible into the visible. And like any mirror, it doesn't reflect what you wish to see. It reflects what is. If your dominant vibration is lack, the mirror reflects more lack. If it's love, love returns. Not always immediately, not always in the form you expect, but always with perfect energetic fidelity. Think of your life like a film projector. Your beliefs are the reel, your emotions are the lens, and reality is the screen. Changing what's on the screen doesn't begin by shouting at it, it begins by editing the film, by shifting the internal picture. And this is where most people get stuck. They try to change their lives without changing their frequency. But nothing new can come into a field that is still clinging to the old. There was once a man who wanted abundance. deeply. He made vision boards, recited affirmations, read every manifestation book he could find. But he kept holding on to guilt from his past. He believed that wanting money was greedy, that success meant losing his integrity. No matter what he did, his energy said, "I'm not safe with wealth." And so it never came. Not because he didn't try, but because the field could only reflect his dominant vibration. The shift came not when he found the right technique, but when he forgave himself, when he let go of the shame, when he stopped seeking abundance to fix his lack and started embodying enoughness without needing proof. And then, quietly, opportunities appeared. Not because he chased them, but because he aligned with them. This is the paradox of manifestation. You must become what you seek before it arrives. You don't attract love by needing it. You attract love by being it. You don't attract purpose by chasing it. You embody purpose now, in small moments, and the greater expression unfolds. You don't manifest freedom by demanding it. You claim it inside, and life matches that claim. So ask yourself, what am I trying to manifest from a place of unworthiness? What if I stopped trying and started tuning? Tuning is an internal process. It means feeling right now what the fulfilled version of you would feel. Not because you're pretending, but because you're remembering. There's a timeline, an energetic possibility, where you already are that version. And the more you attune to it, the more you pull it into your present. This isn't delusion. This is how the quantum field operates. Infinite outcomes exist as probabilities. Your frequency determines which one solidifies into experience. So the game isn't chasing outcomes. It's embodying the outcome's energy now. There's a story of a woman who wanted to fall in love. She kept repeating, "Where is he? When will he come?" But her energy was filled with loneliness. One day, she decided to live as if she was already in love. With herself, with life, with the moment. She lit candles at dinner. She danced in her living room. She wrote love letters to the future. And one day, seemingly out of nowhere, love arrived. But of course, it didn't arrive from nowhere. It arrived from within. This is not fantasy. This is physics, seen through the eyes of feeling. When you become the version of you who already has it, the mirror must reflect it. Not by force, but by law. So the question is not, how do I get what I want, but how do I become what I seek? How do I raise my frequency to match the life I long for? Because the field is not outside you. It is you, and it responds not to who you wish you were, but to who you dare to be now. There is a moment, subtle, sacred, when you stop seeking and start being. When the energy shifts, not because of something you did, but because of who you've become. This is the moment you step into your role, not just as a participant in life, but as a quantum creator. Not in the sense of control, but in the deeper sense of communion. You realize that you are no longer asking the universe to deliver something to you, but inviting it to express something through you. To become a quantum creator is to live in coherence. It is to understand that every thought, every emotion, every breath is a brushstroke painting your reality in real time. It is not about perfection, it is about alignment. It is not about getting everything right, but about being deeply, unwaveringly true to who you are at your core. That core is not your job, your title, your history, or even your identity. It is your essence. The still, powerful awareness beneath the noise. The consciousness that has watched your life unfold with patience and love, even when you couldn't feel it. To live from that place is to become magnetic, not because you're trying to attract, but because your energy is clean, coherent, unapologetically yours. And in that clarity, the quantum responds. Life becomes less about pushing and more about allowing, less about hustle and more about harmony. You stop chasing signs and start becoming the signal. But let's be clear, this is not about bypassing life's challenges. It's about meeting them differently. As a creator, not a victim. When a storm comes, you don't pretend it's sunny. You feel the rain, but you know the rain does not define you. You understand that every moment, even the painful ones, holds a vibration, and you choose with presence how to respond. That choice is your power. That choice is creation. Take a moment to reflect. What part of you still believes the world is happening to you? What if, instead, you began living as though everything was happening for you? Even the pain, even the delay, even the heartbreak. What wisdom might emerge from that perspective? Because the quantum creator knows that delays are not denials, that rejection is redirection, that sometimes what feels like being held back is actually life pulling the arrow further into the bow, preparing for a more powerful release. And in that knowing, you surrender. Not in defeat, but in trust. Trust is not passive. It is the most dynamic state of alignment you can live in. Trust is what allows energy to flow, creation to unfold, and miracles to arrive without resistance. So begin, not tomorrow, not when you figure it all out. Begin now, with what you have, with who you are. You don't need to wait until you feel ready, because readiness is a frequency, not a condition. Begin by tuning your thoughts, by honoring your emotions, by moving your body in a way that feels alive, by creating small rituals that remind you of your power, whether it's a morning breath practice, a whispered affirmation, or simply placing your hand on your heart and saying, I am here. I am real. I am ready. Quantum creation is not about mastering the universe. It's about mastering your alignment with it. It's about realizing that you are not separate from the field. You are an expression of it. And when you live in that truth, you become a doorway through which possibility walks into form. You are not broken. You are not late. You are not behind. You are waking up. And in your awakening, you remind the world what is possible. Because the world does not need more striving. It needs more coherence. It needs more beings who dare to embody love, clarity, and presence, not as a performance, but as a state of being. You are one of those beings. You always have been. Now the field is listening. What will you choose to create? So here you are, at the threshold, not of something distant, but of something already alive within you. The path of harnessing quantum energy for personal growth and healing isn't about learning something new. It's about remembering something ancient, that you are not a static being defined by past events or external validations. You are energy in motion, consciousness in form, a unique vibration shaping your reality moment by moment. If anything in these words stirred something in you, a quiet recognition, a sense of peace, or even a resistance, honor that. Because it means you're listening. Not just to this message, but to the deeper call within yourself. The field is waiting for no one, but it is always responding to you. Every thought, every breath, every act of self-trust ripples outward, collapsing possibilities into presence. You are not here to prove your worth. You are here to remember it. You are not here to chase miracles. You are here to become one. If this spoke to you, reflect on it. Share it with someone who might need it. Leave a comment. What resonated most with you? What are you letting go of? And what are you finally ready to claim? And above all, keep tuning, keep choosing, keep creating, because the quantum doesn't wait, and neither should you.